Batman dies at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, and it's pretty obvious if you look at it. When Batman flies the bat with the bomb out into the river, the timer runs out and then we see the huge explosion. At first, we assume, as Gotham does, that Batman has sacrificed himself to save them. However, we then learn that he'd fixed the autopilot system, so the suspicion is Bruce set the bat to fly on autopilot and jumped out at the last minute. However, the last shot we see of Batman in the cockpit of the bat is barely 13 seconds before the explosion. And given that the bat's cockpit takes at least 3 seconds to open, plus another 2 seconds to clamber out and jump, the bat's travelled for barely 5 seconds by the time it explodes. So unfortunately, being that close to the explosion, Bruce is dead. But I hear you say, we see him at the end of the film with Selina having a drink. Alfred spots him in the cafe. Well, come on. Alfred has been dreaming about that moment his entire life, and it just so happens that Bruce really does go to the cafe that Alfred goes to every year and took Selina with him. And if Bruce was just trying to convince people Batman was dead, why does he allow Alfred and Commissioner Gordon, who know his identity, to go through the process of a burial service, laying a headstone, burying a coffin? They even execute his will and sell off his estate. And he gives the house away to the orphanage. And don't try and tell me that he's surprising Alfred by showing up at the cafe, because Bruce Wayne is, as Falcone says in the first film.
You're Bruce Wayne, the Prince of Gotham. You'd have to go 1,000 miles to meet someone who didn't know your name.
Now, Florence is definitely more than 1,000 miles away from Gotham, but surely in all his travels someone would have recognised Bruce. He's a very famous man. So I'm sorry, but this is still Alfred's fantasy.